Act 1 of Don Juan, or The Feast with the Statue, by Moliere. Translated by Henri van LAUN. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information on the volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Dramatis Personae.
Don Juan, son to Don Louis, read by Kurt Papke.
Don Carlos, brother to Donna Elvira, read by Alan Mapstone.
Don Alonzo, brother to Donna Elvira, read by Adam Bielka.
Don Louis, father to Don Juan, read by Ron Altman.
The Statue of the Commander, read by ToddHWGuzman, gentleman-usher to Donna Elvira, read by Larry Wilson.
Monsieur Dimanche, a tradesman, read by Tomas
PeterSganarelle, servant to Don Juan, read by Adrian StephensLa
Violette, servant to Don Juan, read by Availly.
Ragatin, servant to Don Juan, read by Alan Mapstone.
Pierrot, a countryman, read by Tomas
La Ramee, a swashbuckler, read by Todd.
A Poor Man, read by Jim Locke.
A Ghost, read by Sandra Schmidt.
Donna Elvira, wife to Don Juan, read by Matea BracicCharlotte.
Charlotte, countrywoman, read by Jenn
BrodaMathurine, countrywoman, read by Sonia.
Stage Directions, read by Emmi KranzEditing. Act 1. Scene 1. A palace. Sganarelle, Guzman. Sganarelle with a snuff-box in his hand.
Whatever Aristotle and all the philosophers may say, nothing can be compared to tobacco. All respectable men are very fond of it, and he who lives without tobacco deserves not to live. It not only enlivens and clears a man's brains, but it also teaches men to be virtuous. Through it one learns to become a respectable man. Do you not see plainly, as soon as we take it, how affable we become with everyone, and how delighted we are to give right and left, wherever we are. We do not even wait till it is asked for, but we forestall people's wishes. So true it is that tobacco inspires all those who take it with sentiments of honour and virtue. But enough of this. Let us rather resume our discourse. So then, dear Guzman, Donna Elvira, your mistress, being surprised at our departure, is come after us. My master has touched her heart so intensely that you say she cannot exist without coming here in search of him. Between ourselves, do you wish me to tell you my thoughts? I'm afraid her love will be ill repaid, that a journey to this city will produce little fruit, and that you would have gained just as much had you never stirred from the spot.
And pray, Sganarelle, what can inspire you with a terror which so augurs ill? Has your master opened his heart to you on that subject? And did he tell you that his coldness for us obliged him to leave?
Not at all, but by what I see, I know pretty well how things are, and although he has not yet said anything to me, I could almost lay a wager that the business is tending that way. I may perhaps be mistaken, but yet, in such cases, experience has given me some insight.
What? Can this sudden departure be caused by the faithlessness of Don Juan? Could he insult so greatly the chaste love of Donna Elvira?
No, he is young yet, and has not the courage to—
Can a man of his rank commit so base an action?
Oh, yes, his rank. The idea is really admirable. He would forbear on that account?
But he is restrained by the holy bonds of matrimony.
Ah, poor Guzman, my good friend, believe me, you do not know yet what sort of man Don Juan is.
Ah, truly, I do not know what sort of man he may be, if he has acted so treacherously towards us. I do not understand how, after so much love and impatience shown, such homage urged upon us, such vows, sighs, and tears, so many passionate letters, Such ardent protestations and repeated oaths! Such transports, in short, and such outbursts, forcing even in his passion the sacred obstacle of a nunnery, in order to get Donna Elvira in his power. I do not understand, I say, how after all this he should have the heart to break his word.
I have no great difficulty in understanding this, and if you knew the fellow, you would think the thing easy enough for him. I do not say that he has changed his sentiments for Donna Elvira. I am not yet quite sure of it. You know that he has ordered me to set out before him, and since his arrival he has not spoken to me. But, by way of precaution, I tell you, between ourselves, that Don Juan, my master, is one of the greatest scoundrels upon earth. A madman, a dog, a demon, a Turk, a heretic, who believes neither in heaven, nor hell, nor devil, who passes his life like a regular brute beast, one of Epicurus's swine, a true Sardinopolis, who shuts his ears against all Christian remonstrances that can be made to him, and considers all that we believe as so much nonsense. You tell me that he has married your mistress. Believe me, he would have done more to satisfy his passion, and would, beside herself, have married you, her dog, and her cat into the bargain. It costs him nothing to contract a marriage. He uses no other snares to entrap the fair sex, and he marries whomsoever he can get hold of. A lady, gentlewoman, citizen's daughter, countrywoman, he thinks nothing too hot nor too cold for him, and if I were to tell you the names of all of those whom he has married in different places, I would not have finished until night. You seem surprised, and change colour at what you hear. This is a mere outline of the man, and many other touches would be required to finish the picture. Let it be sufficient that some day or other heaven must needs overwhelm him with its wrath, that I had much better be with the devil than with him, and that he makes me witness so many horrors that I could wish him already, I do not know where. If a great lord is a wicked man, it is a terrible thing. I must be faithful to him, in spite of myself. Fear moves me instead of zeal, curbs my sentiments, and often compels me to applaud what I detest from my very soul. See, there he comes to take a walk in this palace. Let us separate. One word more. I have trusted you, and not concealed anything from you. It came a little too quickly out of my mouth, but if ever anything should reach his ears, I shall declare flatly that you have told a lie.
Scene 2. Don Juan, Sganarelle.
What man was just now talking to you? He has very much the air, it seems to me, of ToddHWGuzman, a servant of Donna Elvira.
It is something very like it.
What? It is he?
The very man.
And how long has he been in town?
Since last night.
And why has he come?
I believe you may imagine well enough what disturbs him.
Our departure, no doubt?
The good man is quite offended, and asked me the cause of it.
And what answer did you give him?
That you had not told me anything about it.
But, prithee, what do you think of it? What do you imagine about this affair?
I believe, without wronging you, that you have some new love affair in your head.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Upon my word, you are not mistaken. And I must confess another object has driven Elvira from my thoughts.
Oh, good heavens! I know my Don Juan at my fingers' ends, and that your heart is the most restless in the world. It delights to rove from one set of chains to another, and never likes to stay in one spot.
And tell me, do you not think I am right in acting in such a manner?
Oh, sir!
What? Speak!
Certainly, you are right, if you have a mind to it. No one can say anything against it. But if you had not a mind to it, it might perhaps be another affair.
Well, then, I give you leave to speak, and to tell me your sentiments.
In that case, sir, I must frankly tell you that I do not approve of your goings-on, and that I think it very wicked to make love to everyone, as you do.
What? Would you have a man bind himself to remain with the first object which has caught him, renounce the world for her sake, and have no more eyes for anybody? A nice thing to pique oneself upon the false honor of being faithful, to bury oneself for ever in one passion, and to be dead from our very youth to all other beauties that may strike us. No, no, constancy is fit only for fools. Every handsome woman has a right to charm us, and the advantage of being first met with ought not to rob others of the just pretensions which they all have upon our hearts. As for me, beauty delights me wherever I meet with it, and I easily give myself up to that sweet violence with which it hurries us along. It does not matter if I am engaged. The love I feel for one fair does not induce me to do injustice to others. I have eyes to see the merit of all, and pay to every one the homage and tribute which nature demands from us. However it be, I cannot refuse my heart to any lovely creature I behold, and as soon as a handsome face asks it of me, if I had 10,000 hearts, I would give them all. Budding inclinations, after all, have a charm which is indescribable, and all the pleasure of love is in variety. One takes great delight in reducing by 100 contrivances the heart of a young beauty, in seeing every day the gradual progress one has made, in combating with transports, tears, and sighs the innocent bashfulness of a mind which can hardly prevail upon itself to surrender, in demolishing inch by inch all the little resistance she can oppose to us, in conquering the scruples upon which she prides herself, and in leading her gently whither we have a mind to bring her. But when we are once her master, there is nothing more to say, nothing more to wish for. All the charms of the passion are over, and we are lulled asleep in the tranquillity of such a love. If some new object does not awaken our desires and present to our heart the attractive charms of a conquest still to make. In short, there is nothing so pleasant as to triumph over the resistance of a fair maiden. I possess in such a case the ambition of a conqueror, who flies perpetually from one victory to another, and can never resolve to set bounds to his wishes. Nothing can restrain the impetuosity of my desires. I feel I have a heart that could love all the world, and like Alexander I could wish for other worlds wherein to extend my amorous conquests.
Odds bodkins, how you talk! It seems that you have learned this by art. You speak like a book.
What have you to say to this?
Upon my word, I have to say, I do not know what to say, for you turn things in such a manner that it seems you are right, and yet it is certain that you are not. I had the finest thoughts in the world, but your speech has put them all out of my head. Let me alone. Another time I shall write down all my arguments to dispute with you.
Do so.
But, sir, would it be included in the permission you have given me if I were to tell you that I am somewhat scandalized at the life which you lead?
How? What life do I lead?
A very good one. But, for example, to see you marry every month as you do.
Can there be anything more agreeable?
True, I should think it very agreeable and very amusing, and I should myself like it well enough if there were no harm in it. But, sir, to make thus a jest of a sacred mystery, and—
Well, be it so. It is an affair between heaven and me, and I can very well settle it without your troubling yourself about it.
Upon my word, sir, I have always heard it said that to jest about heaven is wicked jesting, and that libertines always come to a bad end.
Hello, Master Fool. You know I told you that I do not like persons who remonstrate.
Therefore I do not speak to you. Heaven forbid. You know what you do. And if you are a libertine, you have your reasons. But there are certain puny coxcombs in this world who are so without knowing why or wherefore, who pretends to be free thinkers because they think it becomes them. Had I a master of that kind, I would tell him plainly to his face, Dare you thus jest with heaven? And do you not tremble to laugh as you do at things the most sacred? Does it become you, you little earthworm, you mannequin that you are? I speak to the master I mentioned. Does it become you to wish to turn into ridicule what all men revere? Do you think that because you're a man of rank, because you wear a fair and well-curled wig, and have some feathers in your hat, a gold-laced coat and flame-coloured ribbons? I do not speak to you, but to the other. Do you think I say that you are a cleverer man for all this, that you may be allowed to do everything, and that no one should dare to tell you the truth? Learn from me, who am your servant, that heaven, sooner or later, punishes the impious, that a wicked life leads to a wicked death, that libertines never come to a good end, and that—
Silence!
Why, what is the matter?
The matter is that I inform you that a certain beauty has got possession of my heart, and that captivated by her charms, I followed her to this city.
And have you no fear, sir, of the consequences of the death of that commander who you killed 6 months ago?
Why should I be afraid? Did I not kill him honourably?
Very honourably. It could not have been done more so, and he would be wrong to complain.
I had my pardon for this affair.
Yes, but this pardon does not perhaps stifle the resentment of relatives and friends and—
Pooh! Let us not think of any harm that may happen to us, but only of what can give us pleasure. The person of whom I speak to you is a young bride, one of the prettiest in the world, who was brought hither by the very man she is to marry. Chance threw this pair of lovers in my way 3 or 4 days before they set out on their journey. Never did I see two people so satisfied with each other, and displaying so much love. The visible tenderness of their mutual flame moved me. I felt it deeply, and my love began by jealousy. Yes, I could not at first sight endure to see them so happy together. Resentment kindled my desire, and I thought it would cause me very great pleasure to disturb their intimacy, and to sever that union by which the delicate feelings of my heart were offended. But hitherto all my efforts have been in vain, and I have recourse to the final stratagem. This intended spouse is today to treat the object of his love with a sail. Without having said anything to you, all things are prepared for gratifying my passion. I have freighted a little vessel, and engaged men with whose assistance I can easily carry off the fare.
Ah, sir.
What?
You've done quite right, and you take things in the proper way. There is nothing in the world like satisfying all one's desires.
Get ready to come along with me, and take care you yourself to bring all my arms, so that—
He sees Donna Elvira.
Oh, most unlucky meeting! Traitor! You did not tell me she was here herself.
Sir, you do not so much as ask me.
Is she mad not to have changed her dress, and to come here in her riding habit?
Scene 3. Donna Elvira, Don Juan, Sganarelle.
Will you do me the favour, Don Juan, to notice me? And may I at least hope that you will deign to turn your eyes this way?
I confess to you, madam, that I am surprised, and that I did not expect you here.
Yes, I see plainly that you did not expect me here, and you are indeed surprised, but quite otherwise than I hoped for. The manner in which you appear convinces me fully of what I refuse to believe. I am astonished at my simplicity, and at the weakness of my heart in doubting a treachery so strongly confirmed by appearances. I was simple-minded enough, I confess it, or rather foolish enough, to be willing to deceive myself, and to take pains to contradict my eyes and my judgment. I sought for reasons to excuse to my affection that diminution of friendship which it discovered in you, and I purposely invented 100 legitimate excuses for so hurried a departure, to clear you from the crime of which my reason accused you. All that my just suspicions could daily say to me was in vain. I would not listen to their voice, which represented you to me as a criminal. I took a pleasure in giving ear to 1,000 ridiculous fancies, which depicted you to my heart as innocent. But, at last, your reception permits me no longer to doubt, and the glance with which you received me informs me of many more things than I would wish to know. I shall be glad, nevertheless, to hear from your own mouth the reasons for your departure. Pray speak, Don Juan. Let us hear in what way you can justify yourself.
Madam, there is Sganarelle, who knows why I went away.
Sganarelle, whispering to Don Juan.
I, sir, by your leave, I know nothing of the matter.
Well, Sganarelle, speak. It does not matter from whose mouth I hear his reasons.
Don Juan, making signs to Sganarelle to draw near him.
Come, speak then to the lady.
What would you have me say?
Come hither, since he will have it so, and tell me the causes of so sudden a departure.
Why do you not answer?
I have nothing to answer. You make fun of your very humble servant.
Will you answer, I say?
Madam?
What?
Sir?
Don Juan, threatening him.
If.
Madam, the conqueror, Alexander, and the other worlds are the cause of our departure. That, sir, is all I can say.
Will you be pleased, Don Juan, to explain to me these beautiful mysteries?
Madam, to say the truth...
Fie! How badly you defend yourself for a courtier who should be accustomed to these sort of things. I pity you to see you so confused. Why do you not arm your brow with a noble impudence? Why do you not swear that you entertain still the same feelings for me, that you always love me with an unparalleled affection, and that nothing but death can sever you from me? Why do you not tell me that affairs of the greatest consequence compelled you to set out without informing me of it, that, much against your will, you must stay here for some time, and that I need only return whence I came, with the assurance that you will follow me as soon as possible, that it is certain you are very anxious to rejoin me, and that, whilst you are absent from me, you endure the pangs of a body separated from the soul? That is the way to defend yourself, but not to stand thunderstruck as you do.
I must confess, madam, that I possess not a talent for dissimulation, but am sincere at heart. I will not tell you that I entertain still the same feelings for you, and that I am very anxious to rejoin you, since it is certain that I came away only to avoid you, not for the reasons you imagine, but from a pure motive of conscience, and because I thought I could not live with you any longer without sin. I felt some scruples, madam, and the eyes of my mind were open to what I was doing. I reflected that in order to marry you, I took you from the precincts of a convent, that you broke vows which engaged you elsewhere, and that heaven is very jealous of such things. I was seized with repentance, and dreaded the wrath of heaven. I thought our marriage was only adultery in disguise, that it would bring down upon us some calamity, and that in short I ought to endeavor to forget you and to give you an opportunity of returning to your former obligations. Would you oppose so holy a design, madam, and would you have me expose myself to the vengeance of heaven by retaining you, that by—
Ah, wicked wretch! Now I know you thoroughly, and to my misfortune I know you when it is too late, and when such a knowledge can only serve to make me despair. But be assured that your crime will not remain unpunished, and that the same heaven which you mock will revenge your perfidy.
Sganarelle, heaven!
Oh, yes, we care much for that.
Madam!
It is enough. I do not wish to hear anything more. I even blame myself for having already heard too much. It is meanness to have our shame explained too clearly, and in such cases a noble heart should, at the very first word, resolve what to do. Do not expect me to break out into reproaches and opprobrious language. No, no. My wrath does not spend itself in vain words. It reserves all its ardour for vengeance. I tell you once more, heaven will punish you, wretch, for the wrong you have done me. And if you have nothing to fear from heaven, fear at least the anger of an injured woman.
Scene 4. Don Juan, Sganarelle. Sganarelle, aside.
If he should ever feel some remorse.
Don Juan, after some pause.
Let us go and think of the execution of our amorous enterprise.
Sganarelle, alone.
Oh, what an abominable master I'm forced to serve.
End of Act 1. Act 2 of Don Juan, or The Feast with the Statue, by Moliere. Translated by Henri van LAUN. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 2. A landscape near the seashore. Scene 1. Charlotte. Pierrot.
By jingo, Pierrot, you were there just in the nick of time.
Sir Bobs, they were within an ace of being drowned, both of them.
Was it the great storm this morning that upset them in the sea?
Look you, Charlotte, I shall tell you outright how it happened. For as the saying is, I saw them first. First I saw them. I was on the seashore, I and fat Lucas, and we were a-larking together with clods of earth that we threw at one another's heads. For you very well know that fat Lucas likes to be a-larking, and so do I sometimes too. So as we were a-larking, I perceived a distance off something that stirred in the water, and that came bobbing towards us. I looked fixedly at it, but all of a sudden I saw nothing more. Aye, Lucas, says I think that there are men a-swimming down there. Oh, says he, you've been at the burial of a cat, your eyes are dazed. So deaf, says I, my eyes are not dazed, they are men. No, says he to me, you are purblind. Would you wager, says I, that I am not purblind, says I, and that they are two men, says I, who are swimming straight this way, says I. Snakes, says he, I lay a wager they are not. Well, come on, says I will lay you 10 pence on it. Very will I, says he. To show thee there is the money down on the nail, says he. Was neither a fool nor a gaby. I boldly threw down upon the ground 4 silver pennies and 6 worth of halfpence, as freely, a faith, as if I had drank off a glass of wine, for I am very venturesome, and go on any way. Yet I knew what I did, howsomedever. I am not such a fool as I look. We had but just laid the wager, when I saw the 2 men very plainly, and made signs to us to come and fetch them. I take up the stakes. Come, Lucas, says I, you see that they call us. Let us go at once and help 'em. No, says he, they have made me lose. Then, to cut short my story, I went on so, and at last preached so much to him that we got into a boat, and then I made so much ado that I got them out of the water, and then I carried them home to the fire, and then they pulled off all their clothes and stripped to dry themselves. And then 2 more of the same gang came, who had saved themselves quite alone. And then comes Mathurine, and one of them cast sheep's eyes at her. And that is precisely, Charlotte, how all this has happened.
Did you not say, Pierrot, that one of them is a great deal handsomer than the rest?
Ah, he is the master. He must be some great man to be sure, for he has gold upon his clothes from top to bottom, and his servants are gentlefolks themselves. For all his being a great man, he would have been drowned if I had not been there.
Lack-a-day!
Aye, indeed. If it had not been for us, he would have had his fill of water.
Is he still at your house without his clothes on, Pierrot?
No, they all put on their clothes again before us. Mercy on me, I never saw any of these folks dress themselves before. What a parcel of gimcracks these courtiers wear. I should lose myself in them, and I was quite flabbergasted to see them. Why, Charlotte, they have hair which does not stick to their heads, and after all they put it on like a big cap of unspun flax. They have smocks with sleeves that you and I might get into. Instead of breeches, they have an apron as large as from this to Easter. Instead of doublets, they have little tiny waistcoats that do not reach to the middle. And instead of bands, a great neck handkerchief all open-worked with 4 large tufts of linen hanging down over their stomach. They have bands about their wrists too, and great funnels of lace about their legs, and amongst all this, so many ribbons that it is a downright shame. The very shoes are stuffed with them from one end to the other. and they are made in such a fashion that I should break my neck in them.
Aye, fackins, Pierrot. I must go and see them.
Oh, hark you, Charlotte, stay a little first. I have something else to say to you.
Well, tell me, what is it?
Do you not see, Charlotte, that as the saying is, I must unbosom myself to you? I am in love with you, you know it very well. I am for us being married together. But, Spoddykins, I am not pleased with you.
How? What's the matter?
The matter is, to tell the truth, that you vex my very heart.
How so?
Because, by the powers, you do not love me.
Ho ho! Is that all?
Aye, that is all, and enough too.
Law, Pierrot, you always say the same thing to me.
I always say the same thing to you because it is always the same thing. And if it was not always the same thing, I would not always say the same thing.
But what do you want? What do you wish?
Drat it. I would wish you to love me.
Why, do I not love you?
No, you do not love me, and yet I do all I can to make you. I do not mean to reproach you, but I buy ribbons for you of all the pedlars that come about. I risk my neck to go and fetch jackdaws out of their nests for you. I'll make the piper play for you when your birthday comes. And all this is no more than if I ran my head against the wall. Do you hear? It is neither fair nor honest not to love folk that love us.
But Lock-a-day, I love you too.
Aye, very much indeed.
What would you have me do then?
I would have you do as folk do when they love as they ought.
Why, do I not love you as I ought?
No. If that is the case, anyone can see it. People play 1,000 little tricks to folk when they love them with all their heart. Look at stout Thomas, how smitten she is with young Robin. She is always about him to tease him, and never lets him alone. She is always playing him some trick or other, or hits him a rap when she passes by him. The other day, as he was sitting upon a small stool, she comes and pulls it from under him, and down falls he at full length upon the ground. Zounds, that is the way folk do when they are in love. But you never say a word to me. You always stand like a log of wood. I may go by ye 20 times, and you never stir to give me the smallest thump, or to say the least thing to me. Upon my word, it is not fair, after all, and you are too cold for folk.
What would you have me do? My temper is such, and I cannot alter myself.
Temper or no temper, when a body loves a body, one always gives some small inkling of it.
I love you as well as I can, and if you are not satisfied with that, you must go and love somebody else.
Why, there now. I've got what I bargained for. Zooks, if you loved me, you would not say that.
Why do you come and worry me so?
And what harm do I do you? I only ask a little friendship from ye.
Well, let me alone then, and do not press me so. Maybe it will come all of a sudden, without thinking of it.
Shake hands then, Charlotte.
Charlotte gives him her hand.
Well, there.
Promise me that you will do your best to love me more.
I will do all that I can, but it must come of itself. Pierrot, is that the gentleman?
Yes, that is he.
Oh, lack-a-day, how nice he is! What a pity it would have been if he had been drowned.
I shall come again presently. I shall go to take a pint to refresh myself a little after my fatigue.
Scene 2. Don Juan, Sganarelle, Charlotte in the background.
We have failed in our plot, Sganarelle, and this sudden squall has overturned our sloop, as well as the plan we had formed. But, to tell you the truth, the country wench I have just parted with makes amends for this misfortune. I have found such charms in her that they have effaced from my mind all the vexation caused by the ill success of our enterprise. This heart must not escape me. I have already disposed it in such a manner that I shall have no need to sigh long in vain.
I confess, sir, you astonish me. We have hardly escaped from the jaws of death, and instead of thanking heaven for the mercy it has granted us, you labour anew to draw down its wrath. by your usual whims and your amours.
Seeing Don Juan look angry.
Peace, rascal that you are. You do not know what you're talking of. My master knows what he does. Come.
Don Juan, perceiving Charlotte.
Ha! Whence comes this other country girl? Did you ever see anything prettier? Tell me, do you not think she is as handsome as the other?
Certainly.
Aside.
Another fresh morsel.
Don Juan to Charlotte.
Whence this pleasant meeting, fair one? What? Are there in these rural spots amongst these trees and rocks persons as handsome as you are?
As you see, sir.
Do you belong to this village?
Yes, sir.
And do you live there?
Yes, sir.
What is your name?
Charlotte, at your service.
Ah, what a beauty! What piercing eyes!
Sir, you make me quite ashamed.
Oh, do not be ashamed to hear the truth. What do you say, Sganarelle? Can anything be more agreeable? Turn about a little, please. Oh, what a fine shape! Hold up your head a little, pray. Oh, what a pretty face is this! Open your eyes wide. Oh, how lovely they are! Pray, let me see your teeth. Oh, how love-inspiring! And those provoking lips! For my part, I am delighted. I never beheld so charming a person.
Sir, you are pleased to say so. I do not know whether you make fun of me.
I make fun of you? Heaven forbid! I love you too well for that. I speak to you from the bottom of my heart.
I am very much obliged to you if it is so.
Not at all. You are not obliged to me for anything I say. You owe it to your beauty alone.
Sir, all these words are too fine for me. I have not wit enough to answer you.
Sganarelle, just cast a glance on her hands.
Fie, sir! They are as black as anything.
Oh, what are you saying? They are the fairest in the world. Pray allow me to kiss them.
You do me too much honor, sir, and if I had known it just now, I would not have failed to have washed them with bran.
Pray tell me, pretty Charlotte, are you married?
No, sir, but I am to be very soon to Pierrot, our neighbor Simonetta's son.
What? Should a person like you become the wife of a simple clodhopper? No, no, that would be a profanation of so much beauty. You were not born to pass your whole life in a village. No doubt you deserve a better fate. Heaven, which very well knows this, has led me hither on purpose to prevent this match and to do justice to your charms. For, in short, beauteous Charlotte, I love you with all my heart. It only depends upon yourself whether I shall carry you off from this wretched place and put you in the position you deserve. This passion is doubtless very sudden. But what then? It is owing to your great beauty. I love you as much in 1/4 of an hour as I would another in 6 months.
Really, I do not know what to do when you speak. What you say pleases me, and I should very much like to believe you, but I have always been told that we must never believe gentlemen, and that you, courtiers, are cozeners who think nothing but of making fools of young girls.
I am not one of these.
Not at all, not at all.
Look ye, sir, there is no pleasure in being imposed upon. I am but a poor country wench, but I value honor above everything. I would sooner die than lose my honor.
I have a soul so wicked as to impose on such a person as you? I should be so base as to dishonor you? No, no, I am too conscientious for that. I love you, Charlotte, virtuously and honorably. And to show you that I speak the truth, be convinced that I have no other design than to marry you. Can you have any greater proof? Here I am ready, whenever you please, and I call this fellow to be a witness of the promise which I make you.
No, no, never fear. He will marry you as much as you please.
Ah, Charlotte, I plainly perceive you do not yet know me. You do me great wrong in judging of me by others. And if there are rogues in the world, people who only endeavor to make fools of young women, you ought not to consider me one of them, and never doubt the sincerity of my love. Besides, your beauty is a guarantee for everything. When a woman is as handsome as you are, she ought never to entertain such fears. Believe me, you do not look as if you could be made a fool of. As for me, I protest I would stab myself 1,000 times to the heart if I fostered the least thought of betraying you.
Good heavens! I do not know whether you speak the truth or not, but you make people believe you.
You do me justice, most certainly, by believing me. I repeat anew the promise which I have made you. Do you not accept it? Will you not consent to become my wife?
Yes, provided my aunt has no objection.
Give me your hand, then, upon it, Charlotte, since you do not object.
But at the very least, sir, pray do not deceive me. It would be a sin, and you see how honestly I act.
What? You seem to doubt still my sincerity? Would you have me swear the most frightful oaths? May heaven—
Bless me, do not swear. I believe you.
Give me one little kiss, then, as a pledge of your promise.
Nay, sir, pray, wait till we are married, and then I shall kiss you as much as you wish.
Well, pretty Charlotte, I will do whatever you please. Only give me your hand, and let me by 1,000 kisses express the rapture I am in.
Scene 3. Don Juan, Sganarelle, Piero, Charlotte. Piero, getting between them and pushing away Don Juan.
Gently serve you, please. You're getting too warm. You may get a pleurisy.
Don Juan, pushing away Piero roughly.
What brings this impertinent fellow here?
Piero, placing himself between Don Juan and Charlotte.
Hold hard, sir. You must not kiss our wives that are to be.
Don Juan, pushing Piero again away.
Ha! What a noise!
'Sdeath, people are not to be pushed thus.
Charlotte, taking Piero by the arm.
Let him alone, Piero.
What? Let him alone? I will not I.
Ha!
Drat it, because you are a gentleman, you come here to caress our wives under our very noses. Go and kiss your own.
What?
What?
Don Juan gives him a box on the ear.
Donna, do not strike me.
Another.
Hang it.
Another.
Zounds.
Another.
It's blood and wounds. It is not fair to beat people. It's my reward for saving you from being drowned.
Do not be angry, Piero.
I will be angry, and you are a hussy to let him cozen you.
Oh, Piero, it is not as you think. This gentleman will marry me, and you should not be in a passion.
Ha! But you are engaged to me.
That makes no matter, Piero. If you love me, should ye not be glad that I am to be made a madam?
No, I would as soon see you hanged as see you another's.
Come, Piero, do not fret yourself. If I am a madam, I shall make you gain something. You shall serve us with butter and cheese.
Sounds! I shall never serve you with anything, even if you would pay me twice as much. Do not listen thus to what he says. Fish, had I known this just now, I should not have taken him out of the water at all, but I would have given him a good rap upon the head with my oar.
Don Juan, coming up to Piero to strike him.
What is that you say?
Piero, getting behind Charlotte.
Drat it, I fear no man.
Don Juan, coming towards him.
Let me only get hold of you.
Piero gets on the other side of Charlotte.
I do not care, not I.
Don Juan, running after him.
We shall try that.
Piero, getting anew behind Charlotte.
I have seen many a man as good as you.
What?
Oh, sir, let the poor wretch alone. It is a pity to beat him.
Placing himself between Don Juan and Piero and addressing the latter.
Harkee, my poor lad, move off, and do not talk to him.
Piero, passing before Sganarelle and looking boldly at Don Juan.
I will talk to him.
Don Juan lifts up his hand and intends to give Piero a box on the ear.
Ha! I shall teach you.
Piero ducks down his head so Sganarelle receives it. Sganarelle looking at Piero.
Plague take the booby.
Don Juan to Sganarelle.
That is a reward for your charity.
Zounds! I shall go and tell her aunt of all her goings-on.
Scene 4. Don Juan, Charlotte, Sganarelle. Don Juan to Charlotte.
At last, I am going to be the happiest of men, and I would not change my happiness for all the world could give me. And what pleasures shall we have when you are my wife? And what?
Scene 5. Don Juan, Charlotte, Mathurine, Sganarelle. Sganarelle, perceiving Mathurine.
So.
Mathurine to Don Juan.
Sir, what are you doing there with Charlotte? Are you courting her too?
Don Juan, aside to Mathurine.
No, on the contrary, she told me she wished to be my wife, and I told her I was engaged to you.
Charlotte to Don Juan.
What is that Mathurine wants with you?
Don Juan, aside to Charlotte.
She is jealous of my speaking to you, and would like me to marry her. But I tell her it is you whom I wish to have.
What? Charlotte?
Don Juan, aside to Mathurine.
All you can say to her will be of no use. She took this into her head.
What then, Mathurine?
Don Juan, aside to Charlotte.
It is in vain to talk to her. You will not get this whim out of her head.
Would you?
Don Juan, aside to Mathurine.
There is no possibility of making her listen to reason.
I should like.
Don Juan, aside to Charlotte.
She is as obstinate as the devil.
Really?
Don Juan, aside to Mathurine.
Do not say anything to her. She's a fool.
I think.
Don Juan, aside to Charlotte.
Let her alone. She is silly.
No, I must speak to her.
I will hear some of her reasons.
What?
Don Juan, aside to Mathurine.
I will lay you a wager that she tells you that I promised to marry her.
Don Juan, aside to Charlotte.
I will bet you anything that she will maintain that I have given her my word to make her my wife.
Hark you, Charlotte, it is not right to meddle with other folks' bargains.
It is not polite to be jealous because the gentleman speaks to me.
The gentleman saw me first.
If he saw you first, he saw me second and has promised to marry me.
Don Juan, aside to Mathurine.
Well, did I not tell you so?
Mathurine to Charlotte.
Your humble servant, it was me and not you whom he promised to marry.
Don Juan, aside to Charlotte.
Did I not guess it right?
You may tell that to others if you please, but not to me. It was me he promised to marry, I tell you.
You make fun of folks. Once more, it was me he promised to marry.
There he is. He can tell you whether I am right.
There he is. He can give me the lie if I do not speak the truth.
Did you promise to marry her?
Don Juan, aside to Charlotte.
You're joking.
Is it true, sir, that you have given your word to be her husband?
Don Juan, aside to Mathurine.
Could you entertain such a thought?
You see, she affirms it.
Don Juan aside to Charlotte.
Let her alone.
You are witness how positive she is.
Don Juan aside to Mathurine.
Let her say what she likes.
No, no, we must know the truth.
We must have it decided.
Yes, Mathurine, I will have the gentleman show you your mistake.
Yes, Charlotte, I will have the gentleman make you look foolish.
Decide the quarrel, sir, if you please.
Satisfy us, sir.
You shall see.
And you shall see too.
Charlotte to Don Juan.
Speak.
Mathurine to Don Juan.
Speak.
What would you have me say? You both maintain that I have promised to marry you. Does not each of you know the whole business without any necessity for me giving any more explanations? Why should you oblige me to repeat what I have said? Has not the person to whom I really gave the promise sufficient reasons within herself to laugh at what the other says? And ought she to trouble herself, provided I keep my promise? All the speeches do not forward affairs. We must act and not talk, and facts prove more than words. Therefore, that is the only way in which I shall satisfy you. And when I marry, you shall see which of you two has my heart.
Aside to Mathurine.
Let her believe that she will.
Aside to Charlotte.
Let her flatter herself in her own imagination.
Aside to Mathurine.
I adore you.
Aside to Charlotte.
I am entirely yours.
Aside to Mathurine.
All faces are ugly in comparison with yours.
Aside to Charlotte.
When a man has once seen you, he cannot bear to look at others.
Aloud to both.
I have some trifling message to deliver. I shall be back again in 1/4 of an hour.
Scene 6. Charlotte, Mathurine, Sganarelle. Charlotte to Mathurine.
I am the one he loves, however.
Mathurine to Charlotte.
He will marry me.
Sganarelle, stopping Charlotte and Mathurine.
Ah, poor girls, I pity your innocence. I cannot bear to see you run thus to your destruction. Believe me both, do not be imposed upon by the stories he tells you, but stay in your village.
Scene 7. Don Juan, Charlotte, Mathurine, Sganarelle. Don Juan, in the background, aside.
I should fain know why Sganarelle does not follow me.
My master is a knave. He only wishes to make fools of you. He has made fools of a good many others. He marries the old sex and...
Seeing Don Juan.
It is false, and whoever tells you this, you may tell him he lies. My master does not marry the whole sex. He is no knave. He does not intend to deceive you, nor has he ever made a fool of anyone. Oh, stay, here he is. Ask him yourself.
Don Juan, looking at Sganarelle and suspecting him of having said something.
Yes?
Sir, as the world is full of backbiters, I was beforehand with them. And I was telling these girls that if anybody should say anything wrong of you, they ought not to believe him, and be sure to tell him that he lied.
Sganarelle!
Sganarelle to Charlotte and Mathurine.
Yes, my master is an honourable man. I warrant him such.
Ahem!
They are impertinent rascals.
Scene 8. Don Juan, La Ramee, Charlotte, Mathurine, Sganarelle. La Ramee, aside to Don Juan.
Sir, I came to tell you that it is not quite safe for you to be here.
How so?
12 men on horseback are in search of you. They will be here in a moment. I do not know how they have followed you, but I have learned these tidings from a countryman of whom they inquired, and to whom they described you. As there is no time to lose, the sooner you leave here, the better.
Scene 9. Don Juan, Charlotte, Mathurine, Sganarelle. Don Juan to Charlotte and Mathurine.
Urgent business obliges me to leave this place, but I entreat you to remember the promise which I made you. Depend upon it, you shall hear from me before tomorrow evening.
Scene 10. Don Juan, Sganarelle.
As we are unequally matched, we must make use of a stratagem, and cleverly escape from the misfortune that pursues me. Sganarelle, you shall put on my clothes, and I—
Sir, you are joking. To expose me to be killed in your clothes, and—
Make haste. I do you too much honour. Happy is the servant who has the glory of dying for his master.
Thank you for such an honour.
Alone.
As it is a case of death, grant me a favour, O heaven, not to be taken for another.
End of Act 2. Act 3 of Don Juan, or The Feast with the Statue, by Moliere. Translated by Henri van LAUN. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 3. Scene 1. A forest. Don Juan, dressed as a country gentleman, Sganarelle as a physician.
Upon my word, sir, acknowledge that I was right, and that we were both wonderfully well disguised. Your first plan would by no means have been opportune. This conceals us much better than what you would have done.
It is true. You look very well. I cannot imagine where you have unearthed this ridiculous apparel.
Yes, it is the dress of an old physician, which was left in pawn in the place where I got it, and it cost me some money to have it. But do you know, sir, that this dress has already obtained me some consideration, that the people I meet bow to me, and that they come to consult me as an able man?
How?
5 or 6 countrymen and countrywomen, seeing me pass, came to ask my advice upon different diseases.
You answered that you knew nothing of the matter.
I? Not at all. I wished to keep up the honour of my dress. I speechified about the disease, and gave each of them a prescription.
And what remedy did you prescribe?
Upon my word, sir, I picked them up where I could. I prescribed at random. It would be a funny thing if the patient should get cured and come to thank me.
And why not? Why should you not have the same privileges as all other physicians? They have no more to do with the recovery of their patients than you have, and all their art is mere pretense. They do nothing but get honor if they succeed, and you may take advantage, as they do, of a patient's good luck, and see attributed to your remedies what is owing to a lucky chance and the powers of nature.
What, sir? You are also an unbeliever in medicine?
It is one of the great errors of mankind.
What? You have no belief in senna, cassia, or antimony or wine?
And why would you have me believe in them?
You are of a very unbelieving temper, yet you know how, of late, great noise has been made about antimony or wine. The miracles it has produced have converted the most incredulous minds, and it is but 3 weeks ago since I myself, who am speaking to you, saw a marvellous effect of it.
What?
There was a man who, for 6 days, was dying. They did not know what more to prescribe for him, and all the remedies produced no effect. At last the doctors took it into their heads to give him an emetic.
He recovered, did he not?
No, he died.
The effect is admirable.
I should say so. He could not die for 6 whole days, and that made him die at once. Could you have anything more efficacious?
You are right.
But let us drop physic, in which you do not believe, and talk of other things, for this dress inspires me, and I feel in the humour of disputing with you. You know you allow me to dispute, and forbid me only to remonstrate.
Well?
I would fain know your innermost thoughts. Is it possible that you do not believe at all in heaven?
Let us leave that alone.
That means no. And in hell?
Eh?
The same thing over again. And in the devil, if you please?
Yes, yes.
Very little also. Do you not believe in a life after this?
Ha ha ha!
I shall have some trouble in converting this man. Tell me, what do you think of the Moine Bourru? Eh?
A plague on the fool.
That is what I cannot bear, for nothing can be more true than the Moine Bourru. I'll be hanged if it's not true. People must believe something in this world, What do you believe?
What do I believe?
Yes.
I believe that 2 and 2 are 4, Sganarelle, and that twice 4 are 8.
A fine belief, and nice articles of faith. As far as I can see, your religion is arithmetic. It cannot be denied that strange follies run in the heads of men, and that those who have studied are often not the wiser for it. As for me, sir, thank heaven, I have not studied as you have, and no one can boast of ever having taught me anything. But with my small amount of sense and my little judgment, I can see things more clearly than all books, and I can very well understand that this world, which we behold, has not sprung up of itself in one night, like a mushroom. I should like to ask you who has created these trees, these rocks, this earth, and the sky above us, and if all this has sprung up of itself. There you are. I'll take you as an example. There you are. Did you make yourself alone? Was not your father obliged to sleep with your mother to make you? Can you see all the inventions of which the human machine is composed, without wondering how the one influences the other? These nerves, these bones, these veins, these arteries, this lung, this heart, this liver, and all these other ingredients to be found there, and which, oh Lord, interrupt me if you please. I cannot argue unless I am interrupted. You do not say a single word on purpose, and allow me to go on out of spite.
I am waiting for your arguments to be finished.
My arguments are that there exists something admirable in man, whatever you may say, which all the philosophers cannot explain. Is it not marvellous that I am here, and that I have something in my head which thinks 100 different things in one moment, and does with my body all that it wishes to do? I wish to clasp my hands, to lift up my arm, to raise my eyes towards heaven, to bend my head, to move my feet, to go to the right, to the left, forwards, backwards, turn.
He falls down whilst turning round.
There is an end of all your arguing.
Zoons! I am a fool to amuse myself in arguing with you. Believe what you like. It does not matter a straw to me whether you are damned.
I believe that whilst arguing we have lost our way. Call that man we see yonder, and let us ask him our road.
Scene 2. Don Juan, Sganarelle, a poor man.
Hello? Oh? I say, you man, oh, my good fellow, friend, a word with you, pray, show us the way to the town.
You have only to follow that path, gentlemen, and turn to the right when you come to the end of the forest. But I warn you to be upon your guard, for there have been robbers about for some time.
I am much obliged to you, friend, and thank you with all my heart.
If you would kindly assist me, sir, with some trifle.
Ha ha! Your advice is interested, I see.
I am a poor man, sir, living alone in this forest these 10 years, and I shall pray to heaven to grant you all kinds of prosperity.
Pray heaven to give you a coat, and do not trouble yourself about other people's business.
My good man, you do not know this gentleman. He only believes that 2 and 2 makes 4, and that twice 4 are 8.
What is your occupation among these trees?
To pray to heaven for the prosperity of all kind people who give me something.
You're pretty well off, then.
Alas, sir, I'm as poor can be.
You're joking. A man who prays to heaven every day must be very well off.
I assure you, sir, that frequently I have not even a piece of bread to eat.
That is strange. Your assiduity is ill rewarded. Ha ha! I am going to give you directly a piece of gold, provided you swear a round oath.
Oh, sir, would you wish me to commit such a sin?
Will you gain a piece of gold? Yes or no? Here's one for you, if you swear. There, now swear.
Sir.
Unless you swear, you shall not get it.
Well, swear ever so little. There is no harm in it.
Take it. Here it is. Take it, I tell you. But swear.
No, sir. I would rather die of hunger.
There. I give you this piece of gold because you are a human being.
Looking into the forest.
But what do I see? One man attacked by 3? The match is too unequal, and I ought not to allow so base an action.
He draws his sword and hastens to the spot where the attack was going on. Scene 3. Sganarelle alone.
My master is truly mad to run unsought into danger, but, upon my word, his assistance has been of some use. The two have put the three to flight.
Scene 4. Don Juan, Don Carlos, Sganarelle in the background. Don Carlos putting up his sword.
The flight of these robbers shows me what I owe to your arm. Allow me, sir, to return you thanks for so generous an action, and let—
I've done nothing, sir, but what you would have done in my place. Such adventures touch our honor. The action of these rogues was so cowardly that it would have been taking part with them not to have opposed them. But how fell you into their hands?
By chance I strayed from my brother and all our retinue, and whilst I was endeavouring to rejoin them, I fell in with these robbers, who immediately killed my horse, and would have done as much for me had it not been for your valour.
Do you intend to go towards the town?
Yes, but I do not intend to go into it. My brother and I are obliged to roam about on account of one of those sad affairs which compel noblemen to sacrifice themselves and their families to their untarnished honour. It is ever fatal, even if we do succeed. If we do not lose our life, we are compelled to leave the kingdom. This is the reason why I think it is unfortunate to be a nobleman, for however discreetly and honestly he may live himself, he cannot prevent the laws of honour from connecting him with the disgraceful conduct of other people, nor from having his life, repose, and property depend upon the whims of the first audacious fellow who takes it into his head to do him one of those injuries for which a gentleman must lose his life.
There is, however, this advantage, that those who take it into their head to offend us out of mere wantonness run the same risks, and spend their time just as uncomfortably. But if I am not indiscreet, may I ask what this sad affair is?
It has gone so far that the secret can no longer be kept. When the insult is once public, our honour does not oblige us to conceal our shame, but openly to blaze forth our vengeance, and even to proclaim that we intend to avenge ourselves. Therefore, sir, I have no scruples in telling you that the offence which we wish to avenge is the seduction of a sister, who was carried off from a convent, and that the author of this offence is Don Juan Tonerio, son of Don Louis Tonerio. We have been in search of him for some days, and we have followed him this morning upon the information of a servant who told us that he had gone out on horseback with 4 or 5 others, and that he had taken this route. But all our pains have been useless, and we cannot discover what has become of him.
Do you know this Don Juan, sir, of whom you speak?
No, sir, I do not. I never saw him, and I have only heard my brother describe him. But his reputation is none of the best. He is a man whose life—
Stop, sir, if you please. He is rather a friend of mine, and it would be base in me to allow anyone to speak ill of him.
Out of respect for you, sir, I shall say nothing of him. As you have saved my life, certainly the least thing I can do is not to speak before you of one of your acquaintances, when I can say nothing but evil of him. But however much his friend you may be, I venture to hope that you will not approve of this action of his, or think it strange that we should endeavour to avenge ourselves.
On the contrary, I will serve you in this, and spare you some fruitless trouble. I am Don Juan's friend. I cannot help being so. But it is not right that he should offend gentlemen with impunity, and I promise you in his name that he shall give you satisfaction.
And what sort of satisfaction can he give for these sort of injuries?
All that your honor can desire. And without giving you any further trouble to look for Don Juan, I engage that he shall be forthcoming wherever you like, when you please.
This is very pleasant news, sir, to outrage hearts. But after what I owe you, it would be very painful to me if you were to be one of the combatants.
I am so intimately connected with Don Juan that he cannot fight unless I must fight too. But I answer for him as for myself, and you have only to say when you wish to meet him, and give you satisfaction.
How cruel is my lot! Must I owe my life to you, and Don Juan be one of your friends?
Scene 5. Don Alonzo, Don Carlos, Don Juan, Sganarelle. Don Alonzo, speaking to his retinue without seeing Don Carlos or Don Juan.
Give some water to my horses, and then lead them after us. I shall walk a little.
Seeing them both.
Heavens! What do I see? What? Brother, you are in conversation with our mortal enemy?
Our mortal enemy?
Don Juan, clapping his hand to his sword.
Yes, I am myself, Don Juan, and your superior number shall not force me to wish to disown my name.
Don Alonzo, drawing his sword.
Traitor, you must die, and...
Sganarelle runs away and hides himself.
Stay, brother. I owe my life to him, and had he not come to my assistance, the robbers whom I encountered would have killed me.
And would you allow this consideration to prevent our vengeance? Whatever service the hand of an enemy may render us, it ought to have no influence upon our heart. If we are to measure the obligation by the injury, then your gratitude, brother, is in this case ridiculous. For honor is infinitely more precious than life, and therefore we owe nothing when we owe our life to him who has taken away our honor.
I know the difference, brother, that a gentleman ought always to make between the one and the other, and gratitude for the obligation does not efface within me resentment for the injury. But allow me to give back to him on this very spot what he has lent me. Let me repay him immediately the life I owe him by delaying our vengeance, and by allowing him the liberty of enjoying for a few days the benefit of this kind action to me.
No, no. We run the risk of not wreaking our vengeance if we delay it, and the opportunity of taking it may never come again. Heaven offers it to us now, and we ought not to let it pass. When honor is mortally wounded, we should not think of keeping any moderation. If you do not like to engage personally in this action, you need only retire and leave to my arm the glory of such a sacrifice.
Pray, brother.
All further conversation is unnecessary. He must die.
Hold, I say, brother. I will not allow any attempt upon his life, and I swear by heaven that I shall defend him here against any and every one. that very life which he has saved shall always guard him. If you attempt to kill him, you must first pierce me.
What? You side with our enemy against me? Ugh. And instead of feeling the same rage on beholding him as I do, you show feelings full of gentleness.
Brother, let us show moderation in a lawful action, and not avenge our honour with so much violence. Let us master our courage. Let us show valour without ferocity, which only proceeds from mature deliberation and reason, not from the impulse of a blind rage. I will not remain in debt, brother, to my enemy. I am under an obligation to him which I must repay before I do anything else. Our revenge will not be the less exemplary for being deferred. On the contrary, it will be the greater, and the opportunity we have had of taking it will make it appear more just in the eyes of the whole world.
Oh, the strange weakness and dreadful blindness of thus hazarding the interest of our honor for the ridiculous idea of a fanciful obligation.
No, brother, do not trouble yourself about that. If I commit a fault, I shall make amends for it and take care of our honour. I know to what it obliges us, and this delay of one day, which my gratitude asks for him, will only augment my desire to satisfy it. You see, Don Juan, how anxious I am to return you the favour I have received. By this you can judge of the consequences. Rest assured that I discharge with the same warmth what I owe, and that I shall not be the less punctual in repaying you the insult than the kindness. I will not oblige you to express your sentiments now. I allow you to think at your leisure about what you are resolved to do. You very well know the great injury you have done us. You shall yourself judge what reparation it demands. There are peaceful means of giving us satisfaction. There are violent and bloody ones. But finally, whatever choice you may make, you have passed me your word to let Don Juan give me satisfaction. Pray mind you do so, and remember that, out of this place, my only duty is for my honour.
I have asked nothing of you, and shall keep my promise.
Come, brother, a moment's forbearance does not injure the severity of our duty.
Scene 6. Don Juan, Sganarelle.
Hello, hey, Sganarelle.
Sganarelle, coming out of a place where he had hid himself.
What is your pleasure, sir?
How, scoundrel, you run away when I am attacked?
I beg your pardon, sir. I was quite near. I believe that this gown is purgative, and that to wear it is as good as taking medicine.
Plague on your insolence. Hide your cowardice at least behind a more decent covering. Do you know who the gentleman is whose life I saved?
I? No.
It is a brother of Elvira.
Ah.
He is gentlemanly enough and behaved pretty well. I am sorry I have a quarrel with him.
It would be easy for you to arrange all things.
Yes, but my passion for Elvira is worn out, and it does not suit my mood to engage myself. You know I love liberty and love, and I cannot resolve to immure my heart between four walls. I have told you a score of times I have a natural propensity to give way to whatever attracts me. My heart belongs to the whole fair sex, and they must take it by turns, and keep it as long as they can. But what splendid edifice do I see amongst those trees?
Do you not know it?
No, indeed.
Why, it is the tomb which the commander ordered to be built when you killed him.
Ha! You're right. I did not know that it was hereabout. Everyone says it is wonderfully well done, and the statue of the commander as well. I have a mind to go and see it.
Do not go there, sir.
Why not?
It is not courteous to go to pay a visit to a man whom you have killed.
On the contrary, I intend to be courteous by paying him a visit, which he ought to receive politely, if he is anything of a gentleman. Come, let us go in.
The tomb opens and discovers a splendid mausoleum and the statue of the commander.
Ah, how beautiful that is! What fine statues! What beautiful marble! What fine pillars! Ah, how beautiful that is! What do you say of it, sir?
Pride of a dead man cannot possibly go farther. What I think admirable is that a man who, whilst he was alive, was satisfied with quite a plain abode, should desire so magnificent a one when he has no longer occasion for it.
Here is the statue of the commander.
Zounds! He looks very well in the dress of a Roman emperor.
Upon my word, sir, it is very well made. It seems as if he were alive and going to speak. He looks at us in such a manner that it would frighten me if I were quite alone. I do not think he likes to see us.
He would be wrong, and it would be an unhandsome reception of the honour I do him. Ask him if he will come to take supper with me.
That is a thing he has no occasion for, I believe.
Ask him, I say.
You are jesting. It would be madness to go and speak to a statue.
Do what I bid you.
How ridiculous. Mr. Commander?
Aside.
I laugh at my folly, but my master makes me do it. Mr. Commander, my master, Don Juan, asks whether you will do him the honour to come to take supper with him.
The statue nods its head.
Ah!
What is the matter? What ails you? Tell me, will you speak?
Sganarelle, nodding his head like the statue.
The statue.
Well, what do you mean, villain?
I say the statue.
Well, what of the statue? Speak, or I will break every bone in your body.
The statue made a sign to me.
Plague take the rascal.
I tell you, it made a sign to me. There is nothing more true. Go and speak to him yourself, and then you will see, perhaps.
Come, rogue, come. I will convict you clearly of cowardice. Observe. Will His Excellency the Commander come to take supper with me?
The statue nods his head again.
I would not take 10 pistoles to see it again. Well, sir?
Come, let us be gone!
Sganarelle, alone.
These are your freethinkers who believe in nothing.
End of Act 3. Act 4 of Don Juan, or The Feast with the Statue, by Moliere. Translated by Henri van LAUN. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 4. Scene 1. A room in Don Juan's palace. Don Juan, Sganarelle, Ragotin. Don Juan to Sganarelle.
Be it as it will. Let us drop it. It is but a trifle, and we may have been deceived by a false light, or surprised by some giddiness which disturbed our sight.
Ah, sir, do not try to deny what we saw with our own eyes. Nothing can be more certain than that nod. I make no doubt that heaven, offended by your way of living, has wrought this miracle to convince you, and to reclaim you from—
Harkee, if you bother me any more with your foolish morality, if you say another word on that subject, I shall call one of the servants, send for a strong switch, and have you held down by 3 or 4 men and give you 1,000 lashes. Do you understand me?
Very well, sir, perfectly well. You explain yourself clearly. That is one good thing in you, that you never affect a roundabout way. You express yourself with wonderful plainness.
Come, let me have supper as soon as possible. A chair here, boy.
Scene 2. Don Juan, Sganarelle, La Violette, Ragatin.
Sir, here is one of your tradesmen, Monsieur Dimanche, who wishes to speak to you.
That is all right. I only wanted to be bothered by a creditor. What put it into his head to come to ask us for money? Why did you not tell him that your master was not at home?
I have been telling him so these 3/4 of an hour, but he would not believe me, and sat down within to wait.
Let him wait as long as he likes.
No, on the contrary, bid him come in. It is very bad policy to hide from your creditors. It is good to pay them something, and I possess the secret of sending them away satisfied without giving them a farthing.
Scene 3. Don Juan, Monsieur Dimanche, Sganarelle, La Violette, Ragatin.
Monsieur Dimanche, come this way. How delighted I am to see you, and how angry I am that my people did not show you in immediately. I had given orders that I would not see anyone, but this order was not meant for you, and you have a right never to have the door shut against you in my house.
Sir, I am very much obliged to you.
Don Juan to La Violette and Ragatin.
Zounds, rascals! I shall teach you to leave Monsieur Dimanche in the antechamber, and I shall let you know who is who.
Sir, it is not of the slightest consequence.
Don Juan to Monsieur Dimanche.
What? To say I was not within to Monsieur Dimanche, my very best friend?
Sir, I am your servant. I came.
Here, quick, a seat for Monsieur Dimanche.
Sir, I am very well as I am.
No, I will have you sit down by me.
It is not necessary.
Take away that stool and bring an armchair.
Sir, you are jesting and...
No, I know what I owe you, and I will not allow them to make any difference between us two.
Sir...
Come, sit down.
There is no need for it, sir. I have only one word to say to you. I was...
Sit you down there, I say.
No, sir, I am very well. I come to...
No, I will not hear you if you do not sit down.
Sir, I do as you wish.
Upon my word, Monsieur Dimanche, you look very well.
Yes, sir, at your service. I came to...
You have an admirable constitution, rosy lips, a ruddy complexion, and sparkling eyes.
I should be glad.
How is Mrs. Dimanche, your good lady?
Very well, sir, thank heaven.
She's a good woman.
She is your humble servant, sir. I came...
And how is your little daughter, Claudine?
As well as possible.
What a pretty little girl she is. I love her with all my heart.
You do her too much honor, sir.
And does little Colin make as much noise as ever with his drum?
Always the same, sir.
And your little dog, Brusquet, does he still bark as loudly, and as lustily bite the legs of the people who visit you?
More than ever, sir, and we cannot break him off it.
Do not be surprised if I ask after your whole family, for I take a very great interest in them all.
We are infinitely obliged to you, sir.
Don Juan, holding out his hand.
Shake hands, then, Monsieur Dimanche. Are you really a friend of mine?
Sir, I am your servant.
Egad, I am yours with all my heart.
You do me too much honor.
There is nothing I would not do for you.
Sir, you are too kind.
And that without any motive, believe me.
I have certainly not deserved this favor. But, sir...
Nonsense! Come, Monsieur Dimanche. Will you take supper with me without any ceremony?
No, sir. I must return home immediately.
Don Juan, rising.
Here, quick, a candle to light Monsieur Dimanche. and let 4 or 5 of my fellows take their blunderbusses to escort him.
Monsieur demands, rising also.
Sir, this is not necessary. I can very well go alone, but...
Sganarelle quickly removes the chairs.
What? They shall escort you. I take too great an interest in you. I am your humble servant, and your debtor to boot.
Sir...
I do not conceal it, and I tell it to everyone.
If...
Do you wish me to see you home?
Oh, sir, you jest. Sir...
Embrace me then, pray. Once more I desire you to be convinced that I am entirely yours, and that there is nothing in the world which I would not do to serve you.
Scene 4. Monsieur Dimanche, Sganarelle.
I must needs own that my master is a man who loves you much.
It is true. He is so polite to me and pays me so many compliments that I can never ask him for money.
I assure you that his whole household would lay down their lives for you, and I wish something would happen to you, that somebody would take it into his head to cudgel you, then you should see out.
I believe it. But Sganarelle, pray speak a word to him about my money.
Oh, do not you trouble yourself about that. He will pay you as well as anyone.
But you, Sganarelle, you owe me something on your own account.
Fie, do not speak of that.
What?
Do I not know what I owe you?
Yes, but...
Come, Mr. Dimanche, I'm going to light you to the door.
But my money...
Sganarelle, taking Monsieur Dimanche by the arm.
You were only jesting.
I wish to...
Sganarelle, pulling him.
Come.
I intend to...
Sganarelle, pushing him towards the door.
Fiddlesticks.
But...
Sganarelle, pushing him again.
Fie.
Sganarelle, pushing him quite off the stage.
Fie, I say.
Scene 5. Don Juan, Sganarelle, La Violette. La Violette to Don Juan.
Sir, here is your father.
Oh, this completes the business. It wanted only this to drive me mad.
Scene 6. Don Louis, Don Juan, Sganarelle.
I see plainly that I disturb you, and that you could very easily have dispensed with my visit. It is true we are a thorn in one another's path, and if you are tired of seeing me, I am also very tired of your unruly behavior. Alas, how little do we know what we do when we do not allow heaven to judge what we need, when we wish to be wiser than it, and importune it by our blind wishes and inconsiderate demands. I most anxiously wished for a son. I incessantly prayed with incredible fervor for one. And this son, whom I obtained by wearying heaven with my prayers, is the plague and punishment of that very life of which I thought he would be the joy and consolation. With what eye, do you think, can I behold the many unworthy actions whose wickedness can hardly be palliated before the world, that continuance of disgraceful affairs which daily compels us to weary the goodness of our sovereign, and which has exhausted, in his opinion, the merit of my services and the influence of my friends? Ah, what a mean spirit you have! Do you blush because you so little deserve your lofty birth? Tell me, pray, what right have you to be proud of it? And what have you done in this world that gives you a claim to be considered a nobleman? Do you think it is sufficient to bear the title and arms of one, and that it is any glory to be descended of noble blood, if one lives in infamy? No, no! Rank is nothing without virtue. We have, therefore, no share in the glory of our ancestors, unless we strive to be like them, and the lustre which their actions reflect upon us demands that we should do them like honor, follow in their footsteps, and not degenerate from their virtues, if we would be deemed their true descendants. Hence in vain are you born of lofty progenitors. They disown you as one of their race, and all the illustrious deeds that they have achieved confer no advantage upon you. On the contrary, their renown only redounds to your discredit, and their glory is a shining light which renders clear to the eyes of all the infamy of your actions. Know finally that a nobleman who leads a wicked life is a monster in nature, that virtue is the prime badge of nobility, that I regard much less the name which a man bears than the actions which he commits, and that I should value more highly a porter's son who was an honest man than a monarch's son who led such a life as yours.
Sir, if you were to take a seat, you would speak more at your ease.
No, insolent wretch, I will neither take a seat nor speak any more, and I plainly perceive that all my words have no effect upon you. But learn, unworthy son, that by your actions you have worn out a father's love, that sooner than you think I shall put a stop to your irregularities, forestall the vengeance of heaven, and by your punishment blot out the shame of being your father.
Scene 7. Don Juan Sganarelle. Don Juan, still addressing his father, although he has left.
Why, die as soon as you can. It is the best thing you can possibly do. Everyone must have his turn. It drives me mad to see fathers live as long as their children.
He throws himself down in his armchair.
Ah, sir, you are in the wrong.
Don Juan, rising.
I in the wrong?
Sganarelle, trembling.
Sir?
I in the wrong?
Yes, sir, you were wrong in having listened to what he said to you, and you ought to have turned him out by the shoulders. Did anyone ever see anything more impertinent? A father to come and remonstrate with his son, and tell him to reform his ways, not to forget his lofty birth, to live the life of a respectable man, and 100 other silly things of the same kind. Can a man like you, who knows how to live, stand such a thing as that? I wonder at your patience. Had I been in your place, I should have sent him about his business.
Aside.
Oh, cursed complacence! What do you bring me to?
Will supper be ready soon?
Scene 8. Don Juan Sganarelle, Ragottin.
Sir, a lady, with her face veiled, wishes to speak to you.
Who can that be?
You must see.
Scene 9. Donna Elvira, veiled. Don Juan Sganarelle.
Do not be surprised, Don Juan, to see me at this hour, and in this dress. An urgent motive obliges me to make you this visit. What I have to say will admit of no delay. I do not come here possessed by that wrath I showed a little while ago. I am changed from what I was this morning. I am no longer that Donna Elvira who uttered imprecations against you, whose angry soul vented nothing but threats, and breathed only revenge. Heaven has banished from my heart all that unworthy passion which I entertain for you, all those tumultuous upheavings of a criminal attachment, all those shameful outbursts of an earthly and gross love, and it has left in my heart a flame which burns for you without any sensual affection, a tenderness entirely holy, a love detached from everything, which is not actuated by selfishness, and cares only for your good.
Don Juan, whispering to Sganarelle.
I think you weep.
Excuse me?
It is this perfect and pure love which brings me hither for your sake, to impart to you a warning from heaven, and endeavoured to turn you away from that precipice whither you are hastening. Yes, Don Juan, I know all the irregularities of your life, and that same heaven which has touched my heart and made me see the errors of my own conduct has inspired me to come to you, and to tell you in its name that your crimes have tired out its mercy, that its dreadful wrath is ready to fall upon you, that you can avoid this by a speedy repentance, and that perhaps not another day is left to save yourself from the greatest of all miseries. As for me, no earthly ties bind me any longer to you. Thanks be to heaven, I have abandoned all foolish thoughts. I am resolved to retire into a nunnery. I only hope to live long enough to expiate the crime I have committed, and, by an austere penance, to deserve pardon for the blindness into which I have been plunged by the violence of a guilty passion. But, when I am retired from the world, it would greatly pain me if a person whom I once tenderly loved should be made an ominous example of the justice of heaven. It will be an unspeakable delight to me if I can prevail upon you to ward off the dreadful blow that threatens you. I beseech you, Don Juan, grant me as a last favour this soothing consolation. Refuse me not your own salvation, which I beg of you with tears. If you are not moved for your own sake, let at least my entreaties prevail, and spare me the terrible grief of seeing you condemned to eternal punishments.
Poor lady.
I once loved you very tenderly. Nothing in this world was so dear to me as you. I forgot my duty for your sake. I have done everything for you. All the reward I desire is that you should amend your life and ward off your destruction. Save yourself, I beseech you, either for your own sake or mine. Once more, Don Juan, I beg it of you with tears. And if the tears of a person you once loved have no influence with you, I conjure you by everything that is most capable of moving you.
Sganarelle, aside, looking to Don Juan.
You have the feelings of a tiger.
I leave you now. That is all I had to say to you.
Madame, it is late. Stay here. We shall give you as good a room as we can.
No, Don Juan, do not detain me longer.
Madame, you will oblige me by remaining, I assure you.
No, I tell you, let us not waste time in needless words. Let me go immediately. Do not insist upon accompanying me, and think only of profiting by my advice.
Scene 10. Don Juan, Sganarelle.
Do you know that I felt something stirring in my heart for her? That I was rather pleased with this strange, unexpected adventure, and that her careless dress, her languishing air, and her tears rekindled within me some small embers of an extinguished flame?
That is as much to say her words did not make any impression on you.
Supper, quickly.
Very well.
Scene 11. Don Juan, Sganarelle, La Violette, Ragatin. Don Juan, sitting down at the table.
Sganarelle, we must really think of our mending our lives.
Aye, that we must.
Yes, upon my word, we must reform. 20 or 30 years more of this life, and then we shall consider about it.
Oh?
What do you say to that?
Nothing. Here comes supper.
He takes a bit from one of the dishes that was brought in, and puts it into his mouth.
Methinks you have a swollen cheek. What is the matter with it? Speak. What have you in your mouth?
Nothing.
Show it me. Zounds, he has got a swelling in his cheek. Quick, a lancet to open it. The poor fellow cannot stand this any longer, and this abscess may choke him. Wait, I see it is quite ripe. Ha, you rascal!
Upon my word, sir, I wished to see whether your cook had not put in too much pepper or salt.
Come, sit down here and eat. I have some business for you as soon as I have finished supper. I perceive you are hungry.
Sganarelle, sitting down at the table.
I should think so. Sir, I have not eaten anything since this morning. Taste that, it's very good.
Ragotin takes Sganarelle's plate away as soon as he has got anything upon it to eat.
My plate, my plate. Gently, if you please. Odds bodkins, my mannikin, how nimble you are in giving clean plates. I say, little La Violette, you are not very handy in giving a man something to drink.
Whilst La Violette gives Sganarelle something to drink, Ragotin again takes away his plate.
Who can it be that knocks in such a manner?
Who the deuce comes to disturb us at our meal?
I wish to take my supper at least in peace. Let no one therefore come in.
Let me alone. I shall go to the door myself.
Don Juan, seeing Sganarelle return frightened.
What ails you? What is the matter?
Sganarelle, nodding his head as the statue did.
Is there?
Let us go and see, and let us show that nothing can move me.
Ah, poor Sganarelle, where will you hide yourself?
Scene 12. Don Juan, the statue of the commander, Sganarelle, La Violette, Ragotin, Don Juan to his servants.
A chair and a plate here, quick!
Don Juan and the statue sit down at the table. To Sganarelle.
Come, sit down.
Sir, I've lost my appetite.
Sit down here, I say. Give me something to drink. The commander's health, Sganarelle. Give him some wine.
Sir, I'm not thirsty.
Drink and sing a song to entertain the commander.
I have a cold, sir.
No matter. Begin.
To his servants.
You there, come and sing along with him.
It is enough, Don Juan. I invite you to come and take supper with me tomorrow. Will you be so bold?
Yes, Sganarelle alone shall accompany me.
I thank you. Tomorrow is a fast day with me.
Don Juan to Sganarelle.
Take a light.
No need of light for those whom heaven guides.
End of Act 4. Act 5 of Don Juan, or The Feast with the Statue, by Moliere, translated by Henri van LAUN. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 5. The theatre represents a landscape. Scene 1. Don Louis, Don Juan, Sganarelle.
What? My son, is it possible that the mercy of heaven has granted my prayers? Is what you tell me really true? Do you not deceive me with a false expectation? And can I indeed believe the astonishing tidings of your conversion?
Don Juan, playing the hypocrite.
Yes, I have seen the error of my ways. I am no longer the same I was last night, and heaven has suddenly wrought a change in me which will surprise everyone. It has touched my heart and opened my eyes. I look back with horror upon my long blindness and the crimes and disorders of the life I have led. In my own mind I consider all my former abominations. I am astonished that heaven could bear with me so long, and that it has not 20 times discharged upon my head the thunderbolts of its terrible justice. I see how kind and merciful it has been to me in not punishing my crimes. I intend to profit by it as I ought, to show openly to the world a sudden change in my life, to repair by those means the scandal of my past actions, and endeavor to obtain from heaven a full remission of my sins. I am now going to strive for this. I beg of you, sir, to aid me in this design and to assist me in making the choice of a person who may serve me as a guide, and under whose conduct I may walk safely in the way upon which I am entering.
Ah, my son, how easily does the love of a father return, and how quickly do the offences of a son fade from the memory at the least mention of repentance! I have already forgotten all the sorrows you have caused me. Everything is effaced by the words you have just spoken. I confess I am beside myself. I shed tears of joy. All my prayers are answered, and henceforth I have nothing to ask from heaven. Embrace me, my son, and persist, I conjure you, in this praiseworthy resolution. As for me, I shall go immediately to carry these happy tidings to your mother, unite with her in expressing our delight, and return thanks to heaven for the holy thoughts with which it has vouchsafed to inspire you.
Scene 2. Don Juan, Sganarelle.
Ah, sir, how glad I am to see you converted. I have long been waiting for this, and now, thanks to heaven, all my wishes are accomplished.
Hang the booby.
How, booby?
What? Do you think I was serious in what I said just now? And do you imagine that my mouth uttered what my heart believed?
What? It is not? You do not? You're...
Aside.
Oh, what a man! What a man! What a man!
No, I'm not altered, and my feelings are always the same.
What? Do you not yield to the surprising miracle of a moving and speaking statue?
There is really something in that which I do not understand. But whatever it may be, it is not capable either of convincing my judgment or of shaking my nerves. And if I said I wished to reform my conduct and was going to lead an exemplary life, it is a plan which I have formed out of pure policy, a useful stratagem, a necessary disguise, which I am willing to adopt in order to spare the feelings of a father, whose assistance I want, and to screen myself with respect to mankind from the consequences of 100 disagreeable adventures. Sganarelle, I make you my confidant in this case, and I am very glad to have a witness of the feeling of my inmost soul, and of the real motives which instigate me to act as I do.
What? You believe in nothing, and you pretend at the same time to set up as a virtuous man?
And why not? There are many others besides myself who carry on this trade, and who make use of the same mask to deceive the world.
Sganarelle, aside.
Oh, what a man! What a man!
There is no longer any shame in acting thus. Hypocrisy is a fashionable vice, and all fashionable vices pass for virtues. The character of a virtuous man is the best part which one can play. Nowadays, the profession of hypocrite possesses marvelous advantages. It is an art, the quackery of which is always respected. And although it be seen through, no one dares to say anything against it. All other vices of mankind are liable to censure, and everyone is at liberty to attack them openly. But hypocrisy is a privileged vice, which, with its own hand, closes the mouth of all the world, and peacefully enjoys a sovereign impunity. By mere force of humbug, a compact body is formed by the whole set. He who offends one brings them all upon him, and those whom every one knows to act in all good faith and to be perfectly sincere, even those, I say, are generally the dupes of the others. They simply fall into the traps of the humbugs, and blindly support those who ape their own conduct. How many, think you, do I know who by this stratagem have adroitly patched up the errors of their youth, who put on a cloak of religion, and beneath this venerated habit obtain leave to be the most wicked fellows on earth? It signifies nothing that their intrigues and they themselves are known for what they are. They have none the less influence in society. A demurely bent head, a canting sigh, and a pair of upturned eyes, justify with the world all that they can do. It is under this favorable shelter that I intend to take refuge, and arrange matters comfortably. I shall not abandon my darling habits, but I shall take care to conceal them and amuse myself quietly. If I should be discovered, I shall, without stirring a finger, find my interests espoused by the whole crew, and be defended by them through thick and thin against every one. In short, this is the true way of doing with impunity all that I please. I shall set myself up as a censor of the actions of others, judge ill of everyone, and think well only of myself. Whoever has offended me, however slightly, I shall never forgive, but preserve without much ado an irreconcilable hatred. I shall announce myself as the advocate of the interests of heaven, and under this convenient pretext I shall persecute my enemies, accuse them of impiety, let loose against them those rash zealots who, without knowing why or wherefore, will raise an outcry against them, overwhelm them with abuse, and openly condemn them to perdition on their own private authority. It is thus that we must profit by men's weaknesses, and that a man who is no fool adapts himself to the vices of his age.
Oh heavens, what do I hear? You only wanted to be a hypocrite to make you perfect, and now you have reached the height of your abominations. Sir, your last stroke is more than I can bear, and I cannot help speaking. Do what you please with me, beat me, break every bone in my body, kill me if you like. I must discharge my conscience, and, like a faithful servant, tell you what I ought. Know, sir, that the pitcher goes so often to the well, that it comes home broken at last, and as that author, whose name I have forgotten, very well says, man is, in this world, like a bird on a bough. The bough is fixed to the tree. He who clings to the tree follows good precepts. Good precepts are better than fair words. Fair words are found at court. At courts are courtiers. The courtiers follow the fashion. Fashion proceeds from fancy. Fancy is a faculty of the soul. The soul gives us life. Life ends in death. Death causes us to think of heaven. Heaven is above the earth. The earth is not the sea. The sea is subject to storms. The storms toss vessels. Vessels have need of a good pilot. A good pilot is prudent. Young people are not prudent. Young people ought to obey old people. Old people love riches. Riches make men rich. The rich are not poor. The poor have necessities. Necessity has no law. He who knows no law lives like a brute beast, and consequently you shall be condemned to the bottomless pit.
What fine arguments!
If you do not give in after this, so much the worse for you.
Scene 3. Don Carlos, Don Juan, Sganarelle.
Don Juan, I meet you just in time. I am glad to address you here rather than at your own house, to ask you what you are resolved to do. You know that it concerns me, and that in your presence I took upon me to watch over this affair. As for me, I do not conceal it. I sincerely wish that things may be arranged in an amicable way. There is nothing which I would not do to induce you to take that course, and to see you publicly recognize my sister as your wife.
Don Juan, in a hypocritical tone.
Alas, I should indeed like to give you with all my heart the satisfaction you desire. But heaven is directly opposed to it. It has inspired me with the design of amending my life. And I now entertain no other thoughts than entirely to abandon all that binds me to this world, to strip myself as soon as possible of all sorts of pomps and vanities, and henceforth to correct, by an austere behavior, all those criminal irregularities into which a blind and youthful ardor led me.
This design, Don Juan, does not clash with what I propose, and the company of a lawful wife is not in opposition to the praiseworthy designs with which heaven has inspired you.
Alas, that is by no means the case. Your sister herself has formed this same plan. She has resolved to withdraw into a nunnery, and we have both been touched by grace at the same time.
Her going into a nunnery cannot give us satisfaction, since it may be attributed to the contempt which you show to her and our family. Our honour demands that she should be married to you.
I assure you that cannot be. I was very much inclined towards that union, and this very day I asked counsel from heaven about it. But when I did so, I heard a voice which told me that I ought not to think of your sister, and that most certainly I could not be saved with her.
Do you think, Don Juan, that you can blind us with such fine excuses?
I obey the voice of heaven.
What? Would you have me be satisfied with such a speech?
Heaven will have it so.
Have you taken my sister out of a nunnery to abandon her at last?
Heaven ordains it so.
Shall we suffer this blot upon our family?
Seek your redress from heaven.
Pah! Why always heaven?
Heaven wishes it should be so.
It is enough, Don Juan. I understand you. This spot is not favourable for what I have to say about it, but I shall find you before long.
You may do as you please. You know I am not wanting in courage, and can use my sword if need be. I am going directly through that little lonely street which leads to the great convent. But I declare to you solemnly, I do not wish to fight. Heaven forbid the thought, and if you attack me, we shall see what will come of it.
Truly we shall see. We shall see.
Scene 4. Don Juan, Sganarelle.
Sir, what a devil of a style you have adopted! This is worse than all the rest, and I liked you much better as you were before. I always hoped you might be saved, but now I despair of it. I believe that heaven, which has endured you hitherto, can never bear this last abomination.
Pooh, pooh! Heaven is not so particular as you think, and if men were every time to—
Scene 5. Don Juan, Sganarelle. A ghost in the form of a veiled woman. Sganarelle, seeing the ghost.
Ah, sir, heaven speaks to you. It is a warning it gives you.
If heaven gives me a warning, it must speak more plainly, if it wishes me to understand it.
Don Juan has but a moment to take advantage of the mercy of heaven, and if he does not repent now, his perdition is certain.
Do you hear, sir?
Who dares to utter such words? I think I know that voice.
Oh, sir, it is a ghost. I know it by its step.
Ghost, phantom, or devil, I shall see what it is.
The ghost changes its shape, and represents time with a scythe in its hand.
Oh, heavens! Do you see this change of shape, sir?
No, nothing can frighten me, and I shall try with my sword whether it is a body or a spirit.
The ghost vanishes the instant Don Juan offers to strike it.
Ah, sir, yield to so many proofs, and repent immediately.
No, come what will, it shall never be said that I was capable of repentance. Come, follow me.
Scene 6. The statue of the commander, Don Juan, Sganarelle.
Stay, Don Juan. You gave me your word yesterday that you would come and sup with me.
Yes. Where shall we go?
Give me your hand.
Here it is.
Don Juan, a terrible death is the consequence of persistency in sin. And when the mercy of heaven is refused, its thunder appears.
Oh, heavens! What do I feel? An inward flame devours me. I can bear it no longer, and my whole body is on fire. Ah!
Loud claps of thunder are heard. Great flashes of lightning fall upon Don Juan. The earth opens and swallows him up. Flames burst out on the very spot where he went down. Scene 7. Sganarelle alone.
Alas, my wages, my wages! Everyone is satisfied by his death, offended heaven, violated laws, maids seduced, families dishonoured, parents outraged, wives ruined, husbands driven to despair, all are satisfied. I alone am unhappy. My wages, my wages, my wages.
End of Act 5. End of Don Juan, or The Feast with the Statue, by Moliere. Translated by Henri van LAUN.